Hello there YouTube, this is Tycooners Steve coming back with another episode of our Re-Arc Park for our recently extinct Animal Recovery Center. And today I'm going to put an exhibit here in this little area that we sort of left next to our MOAs and just south of our works. And I think I found the perfect little animal to put in here, although it's not actually that little. It's going to be and I'm 100% sure I'm pronouncing this correct, a Kawekaweau. Or Kawekaweau, or something like that. Basically, what it is it's aboriginal to New Zealand, and it's like the second largest extant species of geckos. And unfortunately, they're no longer with us, but we're bringing them back today here in a nice little exhibit, which I think is going to fit perfectly in this little spot we left over. So let's go ahead and get it started here. And you can see I'm just kind of making both an inside area and an outside. I decided that I wanted to keep the actual outside area of the exhibit a little bit higher in terms of fence height, so I could put in some trees and stuff than the actual building. So I'm making the building itself about a 3 height, and then the outer cage here is going to be at a 4 height. So we'll have a little bit of like a facade wall appearing here on that. But a little bit about the, I'm going to try this again one more time, Kawekaweau, I think that's how it's pronounced, or Kawekaweau. But either way, these animals we actually thought were myths for a long, long time. They appear a lot in Aboriginal stories, but we never had one on record until someone was going through a bunch of old relics in a French museum, and they actually found a skeleton for one of these guys. So it took a long time to figure out exactly what the skeleton was to. They knew it was a large gecko species. They knew they couldn't really match it up with anything, and eventually they kind of figured out that it must be this giant, not quite legendary gecko from New Zealand. So that's actually pretty cool that if it wasn't for some miscategorization in a French museum, we would have no clue that these guys actually existed. But we're bringing them back today, doing it right here. I'm going to go ahead here and steal some of this monsoon grass. I was really delighted to put this in this area since we were kind of doing sort of Oceania, New Zealand animals. We've got the moas, which are also New Zealand natives, and of course we've got our thylacines to the south of here, which are native to Tasmania, so we're kind of covering that area up. Doing a pretty good job, I think, of grouping it together. Obviously not a perfect job because I'm not super concerned, but it just makes them fit even better into this little area here. Plus they're just like the perfect size for this, so I was really happy. These guys actually, the mods for them come from they come from Whalebone site. It's actually the same place where I got those Steven Islands wrens from the previous episode. So 2 really big shout outs to Whalebone and the work that anyway, I went
ahead and you can see I'm just using sort of these bare trees and that little climbing platform. The Kawekaweau should be able to climb up these platforms, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. And then I'm just going to put in those trees to make it look like I've got a whole set of climbing structures for them, a little more less artificial looking than if I used those cat's placeable poles I had before, which I thought would be better with the smaller animal here. And I'm also going to use this little rope, which I did backwards. If you're going to hang these little ropes, the best thing to do is actually put the ropes down first, and then put in the things you want them to connect to, like that. So it looks like the wood there is going right through the hole, and it looks like it's actually firmly connected to something. And of course it didn't quite line up with this tree, so I had to play around with it a little bit, but I eventually got it to come out right, like that. Unfortunately, if I did it exactly like that, it pokes through the fence, as you can see, so I had to twist it around just a little bit more to get this to... And of course, the advantage of using the 4 height fences here was that I could use those sort of higher trees to just kind of plant the area out. And we'll steal some more of these rice flowers. I thought the exhibit was just looking a little too monochrome without any type of flowers, so I'm going to steal these rice flowers. I like them a lot, and they're
about the right height for everything there. Go ahead and move this out. And when it
just to make it look like our, or at least just to disguise, I should say, just to disguise the fact that the animals had an artificial entrance into an artificial looking area. Just a nice little touch that you can add there to your zoo. And then I put these little posts here, like so. It's just look. And at this point, I realized we had to start addressing sort of the outside area. Decided not to actually go with the grass. I figured since these were lizards, maybe people wanted to get up close, and so also to make it so that the area wasn't like all crammed together and stashed and like really rough up and against everything. I was going to go ahead and put in the pathway right up against the fence, which gave me the opportunity to build like a little doorway pathway here for our zookeepers, which I think is a wise idea at this point. I think that is certainly the way I want to go. And so we're just creating a nice little door pathway for our zookeepers, and then allowing the fence to go right around here, which is good because I think the fence is actually also feeling a little bit thin in that area, at least the area right in between the MOAs and our new exhibit. So we'll widen that out a little bit, make it look a little bit more awesome, if possible. Put in some dirt here, and then we'll just go ahead and throw in a different kind of fence right across the front here. Nope, not that kind, because that turns glass. Yeah, can't do that. Let's just use this, though. I use this fence a lot for zookeeper fences, so I think it looks pretty good. And we'll also make sure, while I'm thinking about it, to put in a zookeeper entrance in case our zookeepers want to get to the outside part of our exhibit. That also makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Speaking of, let's not forget to put a door for our zookeepers here on the back side, which, actually, yeah, that's not going to work. So let's make sure it's a door which lines up with an actual entrance, otherwise it's kind of pointless. There we go, perfect. And we'll go ahead and put in some things for our zookeepers here, so they have a functioning little lab to take care of our big lizard people here. So, even before we do that, let's go ahead and grab these and sort of build in like an inside climbing area so that our Kawekaweaus, I'm gonna pronounce that right one of these times. I'm just gonna pronounce it differently every time, so eventually I'm going to hit one time where I pronounce it correct, and I'll be able to point to that in the video and say I pronounced it correctly. So we're building a climbing structure for our Kawekaweaus. I'm almost positive that one wasn't right, but we're going to put this in here so they have something to do on the inside. It's not just going to be a terrible experience every time they have to come in. Building them up here. I think that one might be too high. Yeah, that's a little too high. And now we'll just put in some shelving units and some cabinets and stuff. Make it look like this is an actual little research center. After all, these are extinct animals. We're going to want to learn as much about them as possible. Put you there, a couple of stools, give them some monitors in case they want to play Galaga when it's slow, a couple of notepads, never hurt anybody. Might want a door inside the cage, that's probably going to be helpful at some point. Speaking of, let's go ahead and put the roofs on here. I don't know why I said speaking of, we weren't speaking of roofs, but let's go ahead and put the roofs on here. How about? Gonna have to do it at some point. Now, come on, stop fighting. You know you want to go. Perfect. Alright, and per tradition of the zoo, we'll go ahead and get this dark black border here to wrap around. It's gonna blend it in with that facade wall we put to get a floor high. It's also gonna look a little nicer if you see that building from the side, so definitely a thing to do. And of course, we can't forget to actually cover the top of our exhibit with a nice little mesh or chain link thing. I forget what it's actually called. But I do have one that matches that fence I used perfectly, so that's definitely the one we want to use because it's going to look great. Get that nice and cleaned, and right around here? Yeah. Nope, not that one.
let's get that fixed. There we go. Yes, perfect. One here, row here, and one row here. Beautiful. Blends in wonderfully. Okay, and let's go ahead and get this area cleaned up by lining it with flowers. Flowers everywhere, flowers in her hair. And now the orange flowers. I guess these are black-eyed Susans, but they'll forever be orange flowers in my heart. And of course, we'll grab our juniper bushes for the backing. Keep this going here. I don't know why the juniper bushes levitate before I put them down, but I'm just living with it. And fill in the gaps with our grass. Fantastic. Alright, let's go ahead and do our shorter walkthrough here. I do apologize for a little bit shorter episode, but it is a smaller exhibit. But let's go ahead and take a look at it, because I think it came out really, really nice here. So we are just north of our moas, and if we walk around here, I can't quite see them. Oh, there's one. There's one of our Kawekaweos. Kawekaweau. Kamehameha. See the one? Where's all the other ones? I put 3 or 4 in there. But that is a truly huge gecko. I do have I think I put a picture of it, or I intend to put a picture of it at least. The specimen in the French Museum next to a human being. You can see that these things are just ridiculously huge and really, really awesome, and sadly no longer with us. Like I said, they appear throughout sort of the native mythology from the islanders, but unfortunately that has not allowed them to carry on. And they probably didn't have too big a range to begin with, as far as we can tell. But let's go ahead and go into the inside here. Hello, Mr. Zookeeper. You seem to be doing your job fine, but I'm going to go check up on you anyway. Here is, of course, our Zookeeper's work area. And, oh, it looks like I see one that's already migrated inside to the cage here. So let's see how they're doing. Make a little turn. And he left the door ajar. That's not a good way to do your job, dude. We'll go in here. It seems to be working fine. And we have to go out this door, obviously. And we'll just take a quick peek around. This tall monsoon grass and these rice flowers. Did anybody climb up the structure? It doesn't look like it yet. But, yeah, I don't see anybody out there. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a peek. There they are. There we go. Aren't they beautiful? And huge. Like, really big. Like, you usually don't see anything other than, like, Nile monitors or other monitor lizards that big. But anyway, that was our episode of the Rearc Park. I do hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I apologize for it being a little shorter than my usual ones for a smaller exhibit, but I really do like how that turned out. Fit in perfectly right here in this little area. And next time we'll be probably moving out into the big area to our northeast there. But I want to thank you for joining me today. If you like this, be sure to like it below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for spending your day with me.